Hey Ben, where? So why? I saw a waifu upload content instead of DPL. What happened to that? All that stuff.
It's a video I've been wanting to make for a while, so I made it, and now I've started working on the next DPL video, but like I feel like I've already peaked with DPL shit. I don't know how I can top last time.
Just
Do
keep
it
doing
again,
it.
but better.
Do it again, but
Exactly.
better.
I understand that is easier said than done.
I will try to find a way. Okay, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. I had every intention on making a DPL mid-season video recapping weeks 2 and 3 as well, mids. I had basically all the GFX done, a ton of the script written out, like, sure, I still had some work to do, but I was on track to get it up until this happened. That was how it all began. And how life as I knew it came to what? Yeah, so that sucked up a lot of time that otherwise would have been dedicated to making that video. Instead, I decided to scrap it all together and focus my efforts on Danganronpa I mean on a playoff video. So let's hop right in. Let's take a peek at how the regular season went, starting off with individual performances. To this day, no single player in DPL history has gone 7-0 in the regular season. We have 6 guys that went 6-1 this year, including Derek, who was 6-0 prior to week 7, but for yet another season, no one was able to reach that elusive 7th win. Shout out to the trio of Lapis, Twix, and Count for carrying the entirety of Platoon Goons on their backs this season. They combined for a record of 16-4. The rest of the team combined for a record of 9-20. All 3 of them literally had over half the wins of the entire rest of the team combined. Let's take a peek at the bottom here and... What? Zern? What the hell happened here? This is definitely the first time in DPL history that a player goes 0-7. Alright, let's see. Week 1 he played Gypsy, okay, that makes sense. Week 2 was Jake, that's rough having to play them back to back. Week 3, I suppose he could have played a bit more aggressively, but like, Pi just went sicko mode, bro. Pi had screens on both Uxie and Rotom, so Scissor was forced to stay in and defog a lot, which means free Willow, and there's just nothing Zern could have really done here. I guess, what, maybe spam defog until Sizz dies to guarantee screens being gone, then maybe some combination of Hydra and Coco could still win somehow? I don't know, but either way, there's no shame in losing this game. Week 4 was to the 6-1 Derek, okay, I'm starting to sense a pattern here. Week 5 was an RHV moment. Week 6, he missed a Willow on an incoming Excadrill, then got crit as he switched into Crook the following turn, against a non-Scarf, non-Sandrush set. That really shifted the tide in Phil's favor. In a vacuum, I believe the odds of Crook surviving the switch in there were roughly 99.375%. That being said, it did not survive the switch in. Week 7 was Harris, the player off miss doesn't matter. Rillaboom comes back in, resets Grassy Terrain, clicks Grassy Glide, Zera's dead, Hydra comes in at 82. I'm fairly certain that was Adamant Banded Rillaboom and Scarf Hydra. Grassy Glide does 40 to 47, Draco does 98 max, Rillaboom gets to click Grassy Glide again, and in no universe should Hydra be able to kill Rillaboom and Poliwrath there, barring back-to-back Draco crits. Zern going 0-7 is really surprising, but like, it can at least be explained by looking at who he had to play and what happened in the actual games. Obviously, I'm not trying to excuse all of his losses, because I see him as being a good enough player to the point where he should still have won at least 1 or 2 of those, but I'm more so looking past the record and instead looking at what actually happened to cause such a good player to have such a rough season. Consider this a preview of an upcoming segment. Alright, now let's move on to recapping weeks 2 and 3, then we'll cover mid-season transactions, and then weeks 4 through 7. This is a lot to cover, so we're going to speed through it. Starting from the bottom and working our way up, Young Goaters appear to have crashed and burned, no surprises here, but one of their 5 total wins by this point was Carson beating Gypsy, so that's a thing. Not much else to really say about them. Galarian Stampede was a team I really wanted to keep an eye on this season. I'm of the mentality that synergy is one of the most important aspects of team tours, and I've been wondering what would happen if captains blew their budget early on in the auction on 2 or 3 broken players that are effectively free wins, then use the rest to get their friends for cheap. Naturally, I didn't get an opportunity to be a captain again to test this out for myself because of the train wreck known as Large Queen from Season 1, but Blue and Draw appear to have approached the auction with a similar mindset, so I wanted to see if it went well. That being said, it did not go well. At this point in the season, Kramers is currently sitting in 6th place, which really surprised me. To be fair, both of their losses were 4-3, so the 1-2 record doesn't really tell the full story. At this point in time, I fully expected them to turn things around. They would have had a lot of ground to make up, but I still saw them as potential playoff contenders. Temporal Tower Titans bounced back in a big way after their week 1 loss. Firstly, Pichu was goated. I guess he doesn't have it then.
Please Thunderbolt. Let's go.
Oh my god, that did
shit.
50.
Oh, got him!
Pichu go. Pichu
Oh.
go.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Joe?
We're Colbert.
Oh,
We're
it's
Colbert. We're
trapped.
Colbert. We're
Oh, you're
Colbert.
Colbert?
Colbert? Alright, okay.
Stand and click
Really?
Hydro
This
Pump.
army is doing the work. They
Stand
got the
and
para.
Pump, pump,
Pump.
pump, pump. Colbert.
Are we not?
Popped. We
We
live in.
lived.
Pump.
Let's go.
Bye-bye, Weavile.
Let's go. Oh my god, Pichu's so good.
So bro.
Oh, please tell
And
me
he did
he U-turn.
U-turn.
Please tell me.
Oh
My God.
yeah.
Human. Mod chat's off. Mod.
Oh right, right.
I
Game.
can't clip max
Game.
for them.
Game. Secondly, Rabs is goated.
Grotto.
Shiny Grottle.
Big Grottle in the cut.
Oh.
Wha-
You
Huh.
don't understand. This
Oh,
is
baby.
the
He's going
best
hog
set
wild.
ever.
He's going
Never
hog
mind.
wild.
Never mind. Why do you spike on a submon? What the fuck?
Oh my
So-
God, dude.
What is
What's
he
his
doing?
main attack?
What is this guy? Undead's so bad. What is he doing?
Undead is
Oh.
I will not hear this slander.
Okay,
Oh, this is bad.
This is so sad.
It doesn't matter.
He went a little too hog wild with it. Oh, the 3 layers of spikes are fucked. What's Nidoking at? I can't
Yeah,
check
this
them
is
up.
hard.
44.
You think this Hydreigon has defog? Or I guess the Comfy might have.
That's smart to sack
the
this
company.
against the helmet.
I think the
shit,
compass
yeah.
defog, yeah.
Ooh, Rocky
Oh,
helmet.
that's-
Rocky
Yep,
helmet.
poison point. Yep,
Ooh.
that's the set. That's the set.
Go.
Genius. Absolute genius.
That is the set, the Nidoking set for Zeras and Cocos. Dude, I've been running that
Yep.
for years.
Imagine having the boots which covers T-spikes, but poison. But God said poison point.
Facts.
Oh, what?
This
Oh,
was...
Comfy's getting the defog.
Oh, that's huge.
That was a
Oh,
really
that's-
good defog.
That's probably a game, honestly.
So he's just gonna let him set up to +6.
It's all
Yep.
about Keek.
I mean, he can't do anything about it now. It's over.
George.
Unplug your controller. Tom. He
Total
forfeits.
GG's.
That is all. Moving on. Platoonigans are up next. Dude. I feel bad for the aforementioned trio of Lapis, Twix, and Count. At this point in time, they were a combined 8-0. The rest of their team was a combined 4-9. Why is also worth mentioning, as he was 2-1, with his only loss being to Gypsy. That would make the 4 of them 10-1, and the rest of their team 2-8. DPL is definitely a team sport, guys. But hey, as long as 1 or maybe 2 of their other teammates pull through, that's a win, and things appear to be working out decently well so far. Future DPL Season 4 champion Tangyang got the living shit beat out of them by Kramers in Week 2, and proceeded to beat the living shit out of Galarian Stampede in Week 3, resulting in a net neutral across the 2 weeks, only being tied for 2nd place thanks to Young Goaters letting them stat pad in Week 1. I see Whiscash Gang in a similar light as Platoon Goons. In my eyes, both teams have 3 superstars, but I think the former has better depth. That being said, the latter beat them in Week 2, so what do I know? Rakiel and Verzions have defied all odds. After finding themselves in a very unfortunate pickle during the auction, Ian and TC at this point find themselves undefeated and on top of the world. In Week 1 they beat Kramers, Week 2 was Galarian Stampede, and Week 3 was Platoon Goons. Granted, all of them were 4-3, so they weren't the most convincing of wins, but hey, a win's still a win. Moving on to mid-season, transactions started off with a bombshell as Young Goaters dropped Techno. GS tried to drain the swamp, dropping 4 of their goons right from the get-go. Bye Astoria, bye GCS, hi person whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce, hi Toxic, bye Mr. IRL Timer Stellar, hi PZZ, bye Achroma, bye Sfeel, hi Paddix, bonjour Amel, GCS joins GS, how fitting. Whiscash Gang sees Torts on the board, lol bye Hobbit and BM, hello again Antonio Brown of DPL, that worked out great for the Patrons 2019 for a grand total of 1 game before it didn't work out anymore, let's see how long DPL's version lasts. Hi Gammon, hi again Techno, hi Dawn, hi Ice, glad to see you've been picked up finally, hi Odin, hi again Pythons, hi Kerrigan, hi Fanda, hi Luke, hi Mia, and that concludes mids. Tangang was just kind of watching from the sidelines like, look at you fools, imagine not drafting an immaculate lineup from the start. Anywho, now that that's out of the way, let's continue to recap the regular season. Rakiel and Verzions won yet another Series 4-3, making them 4-0 and Tangang 2-2, despite both teams having the same overall record of 16-12, because DPL makes sense like that. Whiscash Gang asserted dominance on Kramers, demoralizing them and effectively eliminating them from the playoff race right then and there, because spoiler alert, they never bounced back. Temporal Tower Titans got their asses clapped by the formerly winless Galarian Stampede, who were revitalized from mids. Platoon Goons blew a 3-0 lead and lost to the worst team in the tournament, thereby jeopardizing their playoff chances. One player in the Lapis, Twix, and Count trio lost, so naturally they weren't able to pull out the series win, because that's just how the team works. The 3 of them are now a combined 10-1, with the rest of their team sitting at 5-12. Rakiel and Verzions remain undefeated thanks to them utilizing their arsenal of RHV moments at the exact right times and winning the games they need to win. Whiscash Gang is right behind them, sitting in a very comfortable 2nd place, ready to snatch 1st in the blink of an eye. Tangang sitting in 3rd, despite, again, having the same overall record as the 4-0 team. Platoon Goons are in 4th. Temporal Tower Titans still have life, but they really need to make up some ground in terms of differential. And Kramers, Galarian Stampede, and Young Goaters appear to be all but dead. Moving on to Week 5, Rakiel and Verzions finally tasted defeat, because Bronson's the greatest player of all time, Also, because II and Josh lost, and RHV sorta has Platoon Goon syndrome, I'm just surprised they managed to keep the series close, all things considered. Next up is Whiskash Gang vs. Galarian Stampede. This should be a snack wrap considering the former is fucking stacked. What the fuck happened here? Oh hey, look at who got the 3 wins for Platoon Goons this week. What a surprise! Could have never seen that one coming, am I right, guys? Okay, what the fuck? Why is Young Coders winning all of a sudden? Was X-Ray like some sort of curse? As soon as he leaves, the team starts making things happen. The universe was not supposed to play out in this way. After week 5, Rocky Helmet Rosians remains in first place, followed closely by Whiskash Gang and Tang Gang. Temporal Tower Titans are in 4th, Platoon Goons right behind them in 5th, Galarian Stampedes and Young Goaters are on a 2-game winning streak, trying to make something out of nothing, and Krammers are getting left in the dust in last place. Moving on to week 6, all is right with the world. Yep, things are looking pretty normal so far. Everything is perfectly fine. I guess I need to address this, don't I? What is up, DPL Nation? I'm your host, Ben. Let's get right into the news! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to catch up on. While my lazy ass has been playing Danganronpa for the past few weeks, drama has been going down in the Draft Premier League. Starting off, the Week 5 Platoon Goons vs. Young Goaters game between Twix and X-Ray was interesting, to say the least. On turn 24, Twix got in his Zapdos in front of the -1 Zarude. X-Ray switches out, which makes enough sense. Zarude can't really do much to Zapdos, and Twix could hit him up with a U-turn, Toxic, or a Heat Wave, something like that. But instead, he clicks Curse. Drill Peck does 41 to the Slowking, which puts it in range of the 2-hit KO. X-Ray chooses to preserve it by going Gliscor. Now, who will win this 1v1? The Pokemon boosting its attack to click a super effective base 65 non-stab move, or the Pokemon boosting both its attack and defense to click a neutral base 80 stab move? The answer is, the Pokemon boosting both its attack and defense to click the neutral base 80 stab move. Now it's at +4/+4, but the Gliscor was at least able to wear the Zapdos down to 13%, so X-Ray should be able to revenge it here if he just goes into Rotom. Why was this the play? Why did he Bullet Punch? And he just let this man heal his Zapdos back up to full when he could have just killed it with Rotom. Maybe even Slowking, depending on if Zappy had any speed investment, or he could have just gone Zarude if he had Darkest Lariat, which, as we learned afterwards, he did. He literally went to the only thing that let Zapdos heal up. Now Zappy's in a position to clean, and yeah, that saved us some time. After the game, not only did we learn that Zarude had Darkest Lariat, but it also had Encore. How does one forget they have Encore in this scenario? And X-Ray has quit DPL! In his place, Young Goaters have picked up Will the RNG Lord. Also in the news, and frankly more importantly, heading into week 6, the playoff race was heating up. Hi, Future Ben here. I don't know what I was smoking when I wrote this part of the script, but I got the first half of the standings wrong. Rocky Helmet Rosians are alone in first place at 4-1. Whiskash Gang, Tang Gang, and Temporal Tower Titans are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively at 3-2, but TTT really has some ground to make up in terms of differential. Alright, cool, we're good. Past self, you may continue. Platoon Goons, Galarian Stampede, and Young Goaters W were 2-3. Krammers was in dead last at 1-4. But even if a team has been eliminated from playoff contention, they still need to give it their all if their opponents are still in the running. They don't want to give anyone a free ride into playoffs. Unless they do. Season 2 Trick of Eye, I'm calling you out. Now, most of the guys on that team probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but I know a couple of you threw to Crit City in Week 7 specifically to keep High Jump Hex out of playoffs. Granted, we wouldn't have made it anyway, because I choked away my game to the 0-2 Vinoxio in Week 7, and we lost that series 4-3. But we don't have to talk about that. We're just going to pretend that we missed out due to collusion, even though it didn't actually make a difference for us. Its effects on Rising Phoenix is another story, but I digress. Returning to the present, our Week 6 matchups are as follows. Whiskash Gang vs. Rocky Helmet Rosians. Whiskash Gang won, moving both teams to 4-2. Tang Gang vs. Temporal Tower Titans. Tang Gang pulled off a huge win, advancing to 4-2, and making their fellow playoff contenders fall to 3-3. Galarian Stampede vs. Young Goaters W. We will address this later. Platoon Goons vs. Krammers. Krammers have been eliminated already, but Platoon Goons still have life in the playoff race. Despite having to face a mon she didn't prep for, Mia took the very scuffed Game 1 over TJ, giving Platoon Goons a 1-0 lead. And then we get Troy vs. Count Riario. Hey, he got the first kill at least. So, Troy's the Doug Peterson of DPL. The rest of Krammers were just as surprised as everyone else. This obviously sparked a lot of drama, considering Platoon Goons is still in the playoff race. Troy was immediately banned for both the remainder of this season as well as next season of DPL on the grounds of throwing. But is that really the full truth of the matter? Soon after this went down, I hit up Troy and requested an interview to hear his side of the story. And here is that interview. Alright, we have Troy on the line here. Introduce yourself.
What's good, guys? DPL Messiah here, and I'm here to grace you guys with my presence.
So, Troy, there's been a lot of drama surrounding your Week 6 game versus Count Riario. People are accusing you of throwing, but let's hear your side of the story. Why weren't your Mons level 100?
Well, you see, I was in a hurry, and I prepped 5 minutes before my game, like one usually does for a casual game of Bonds. And I just so happened to rush over my levels, and I accidentally forgot to put all of the zeros on my level 100s.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
And no one on your team caught that?
Unfortunately not. You see, my team was out of playoffs, so they didn't really care either way. I don't think a singular person really asked.
Man,
There was one person I DM'd, iPro. He said to change my Chomp to level 69 as it would give Chomp higher stats, and change the Uxie to 99 to avoid speed tie with the Azelf. And I trusted him, but all of a sudden he started calling me names after the game. He started calling me like autistic, and it made me very sad.
I see. So it sounds like it was a simple mistake of forgetting the zeros, and just an unfortunate miscommunication. But man, those zeros would have made a huge difference, bro. Can you imagine if you had a level 690 Garchomp and a level 990 Uxie? You definitely would have won that game. So, the admins were unaware of the true reasoning behind the underleveled Pokemon, and they tour-banned you without even listening to your side of the story. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that's off. They said I was throwing, which is just wrong. And even if I was throwing, is that really worth a ban? Is it how do you even determine if someone's throwing a match? The same day Robert Panda got 6-0'd in like 11 turns. Is that considered throwing? These are the questions that the admin team should be asking themselves before sucking up to everyone and performing such an extreme action like banning. Banning should be the worst case scenario. It should be the last thing you want to do. And that is my opinion.
Now, this game did unfortunately affect the outcome of the series as Platoon Goons won 4-3.
Right?
If your Pokemon had known that winning that game would have straight up eliminated a team from the playoff race, do you think they would have tried harder, given it their all? Do you think they would have maybe even pulled through?
I don't think they would. There reaches a certain point where your Pokemon just stop obeying you, and I think I've reached that point after going 0-3. I think in order to get my Pokemon to obey me again, I need to collect more badges, and then I'll be able to bounce back from this horrid season. I'm definitely capable of collecting badges. Hell, not trying to brag, I've even won the Pokemon League a few times, so
Ooh.
Yeah, I will
Impressive.
definitely bounce back from this.
I see, so badges are the key here. Gotcha. And as a result of this game, they banned you until DPL Season 6, which will likely begin around December of 2022. Holy shit, I'll be like 23.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywho,
See.
Troy, assuming you still play Mons by then, do you see yourself potentially returning, or do you see this as the end of your DPL career?
I will always return. I will wait 2 years until the esteemed DPL takes me back. I will show them my badges, and they will take me to the Pokemon League, and I will hand deliver them a large pepperoni pizza. And me and iPro will touch dicks.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it. We all look forward to seeing your return in 2 years.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Troy, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Alright. Insert cheesy outro here. See ya. So Troy got banned, and Kremers picked up Keegan as his replacement. Also in the news, we have 2 stories from the same series here. Galarian Stampede versus Young Goaters in Week 6. First off, the DPL admins don't even know their own rules! The series was tied at 1 apiece, and on turn 8 of Game 3, Toxic revealed the Power Whip Gliscor. It took 14 turns for someone to question the legality of the set. This caused a lot of confusion in the chat. Rai points out some inconsistencies with the rules here. Gliscor isn't in Gen 8. Coco isn't in Gen 8. That being said, we are apparently allowed to use Gliscor's leaked moves, but not Coco's? Incidentally, Kramers had a question about the legality of a leaked DLC move as well earlier on in the season. Pi wanted to bring in Dirk Greninja, but his teammate and Admin Dougal said it was illegal. However, when Toxic asked L5 if he could run Power Whip Gliscor, he gave him the green light. And if the Supreme Overlord of the tournament says that a set is legal, You can't exactly give him a forfeit loss for bringing it. Toxic ended up winning the game, and Young Goaters took a 2-1 series lead. The second story from this series takes place in Game 6. Galarian Stampede won Games 4 and 5, so they had 3-2 series lead. Going into the critical 6th game, Craig saw a bizarre sight on his screen. There was a Pokemon on the other side of the field that he did not prep for. Naturally, he questions why there is a Claydol on his screen. Jake calls attention to the fact that the dock isn't updated, to which King Sky replies, "Cap." Jake tells him to check it, idiot, and surely enough, the dock showed a Torterra. Keep in mind that we are in week 6, and this transaction occurred at mids, which is between weeks 3 and 4. Sky continues to juice it up, telling them to play anyway, as he assumed Young Goaters were just baiting. Kaz adds on to this, saying it's just one different mon. Jake, Finch, John, and Craig all rightfully insist that it makes a difference. Craig once again shows that he is not a drama queen, saying he's willing to play out the game anyway. However, his team immediately shoots him down. Then this is the thing that happened. Now we get into a bit of a weird part of the conversation, where both sides acknowledge that this isn't either of their faults. But aside from playing it out, which doesn't really seem like an option at this point, what are they supposed to do? More drama, blah blah. Dude, Craig is a breath of fresh air from this team. I love this dude. Blah blah blah, more mindless drama, power whip Y score, blah blah blah. Yikes, John seems really pissed off. In the end, Gregulator, as the representative admin, announces in the chat, this matchup will be null and voided. A solution will be discussed and worked on tonight. Fortunately, Sky won his game later that night, which gave Galarian Stampede their 4th win of the series, so the Craig vs. Kaz game only would have mattered for differential. So I guess all's well that ends well? Also in the news, Whiscash Gang, one of the few teams that even remotely appeared to have its shit together, had some locker room drama. In Week 5, Wordlife was originally supposed to play against Kaz, but he got replaced by Techno. The following information that I am about to present is merely what my sources have told me. I have not seen any of the screenshots of the incident myself. From my understanding, Wordlife was MIA until that Sunday, and Gypsy asked him where he had been all week. To which Wordlife responded by saying, "Fucking your sister." Gypsy then said something that I probably should not repeat here. Little did he know that Wordlife is bi. Something something, Wordlife and Whiscash Gang mutually agreed to part ways, something something. Now this was the second dropout of the week, as Temporal Tower Titans' Tezzy went MIA, so TTT picked up Turk, and Whiscash Gang picked up Jimmy G, per Wordlife's request. Huh. AB, Doug Peterson, now Jimmy Garoppolo? Man, DPL has connections. Also in the news. Speaking of Antonio Brown, Tort may not have taken a page out of his book this time around, but he did take a page out of the playbook of Bill Belichick. He did some spying on the opponent's sideline by having an ult in the Rocky Helmet Verzion server, aka his former team, aka the team that his new team is playing in Week 7. My sources tell me that he got exposed because he posted a screenshot of his server list in his TDT team chat, and in that list was the RHV server. Brown was also in this chat. He presumably saw the screenshot and put the pieces together, and the rest is history. Tort got the Troy treatment and has been banned until Season 6 of DPL, and Whiscash Gang has picked up Gelbell in his place. Bonjour. Also in the news, Regigigas may be a good Pokemon. Greg requested that I showcase a couple of his games with Regigigas, and I couldn't really find a better place to fit them in, so here they are. Let's start off with this Week 4 game against Ziff. On turn 17, the beast hits the field. Alright, it's got a sub up. It's gonna stall out that slow start. Oh, the Finny is setting up. Okay, there's the power up punch. He's gonna protect to stall out that last turn. Now it's... Wow, that did a million. Another pup. Okay, it's +2. Alright, Galade's in. Party's over. Oh. Well, that sucks. Oh, sweet, it lived. Cool. Now he gets to click Mega Kick again, because for some reason, Regigigas outspeeds the Galade. And he misses again. And he loses the game. Alright, now let's check out Greg's Week 6 game versus Slick Panther. Turn 12, it's in. Nidoqueen is gonna Super Fang it down, alright. Greg knocks off the Black Sludge. There's another Super Fang, blah blah blah. Oh, Sludge Wave didn't kill, and he whipped out the Chesto Resto. Oh, and he dodges the Super Fang the next turn. Now Regigigas' slow start has worn off, and he gets to kill the Nidoqueen. Corviknight is in. Surely that wall's... Oh. Oh, he tried setting up. Goodbye, Corviknight. Oh, and there's a Body Slam para. And the Dark Pulse is doing 0. Goodbye, Hydra. Goodbye, Vape. Goodbye, Spectrier. Goodbye, Galade. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a Regigigas sweep. Didn't even need to set up. Anyway, that's it from me. And as always, as soon as I get the scoop, I'm going to keep you guys in the loop. A few weeks later. Week 6 was a bit scuffed, but let's see what it actually ended up affecting. Heading into Week 7, technically no one had clinched a playoff spot yet, but for all intents and purposes, Whiscash Gang, Tangang, and Rocky Hill and Virizions were in. Young Goaters and Crammers were the only two teams mathematically eliminated, leaving Platoon Goons, Galarian Stampede, and Temporal Tower Titans all fighting for that last spot. Whiscash Gang beat Tangang, that didn't matter in terms of who made playoffs, all that affected with seeding. Rocky Hill and Virizions smacked Young Goaters 6-1, not much more to say about this series, so instead, let's talk about the history of 6-1 series wins! This was the 15th 6-1 series win in DPL history, but only the second on the season, which is an all-time low. This is especially interesting considering last year we had an all-time high with 6. This can at least somewhat be attributed to the number of teams fluctuating across seasons. Seasons 2 and 3 had 10 teams as opposed to 8, which naturally means more matchups and more opportunities for this. Even though there have been 15 6-1 series in total, there's only ever been one clean sweep, way back during Week 3 of DPL Season 1. And the losing team was the victim of the first ever 6-1 series the week prior. This was the only win for Young Goaters this week, making him the only player in DPL history to be the one win in a 6-1 series 2 times. Those who managed to achieve this feat just one time are inducted into what I like to call the Deshaun Watson Club. Unwittingly founded by yours truly in Season 1 when my team was a walking trash can, the Deshaun Watson Club is an exclusive club consisting of players who did everything in their power to help their team win, but the surrounding incompetence from their teammates was out of their control, so their efforts were in vain. Players are automatically inducted into the club if they are the one win in a 6-1 series. This group of unspoken heroes consists of myself, AM22, TCMTL, Money Guy, King L5, Justin, Vixion, Marin Varen, Max, Count Riario, Vesuvius, Sablo, ENMC, and Jeroni Puff. None of you knew this existed, but you do now, so welcome to the club, boys! Marin holds the all-time record for most appearances in a 6-1 series with 6. Count, L5, and Vess are all tied for second with 5 appearances. And Carson, Commonly, Josh, and Lapis have 4. Everyone else has 3 or fewer. This has been the history of 6-1 series wins. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, so that series was a blowout, and all it affected was seeding. 3 playoff spots were officially locked up by this point, Whiscash Gang with the number 1 seed, Rocky Hill with Virizions with the number 2 seed, and Tangang with likely the number 3 seed, possibly number 4, depending on the outcome of the last 2 matchups. Platoon Goons had a bit of an upper hand on TTT and GS, as they had higher differential than them and were in control of their own fate. If they win their series 4-3, the only way they could be eliminated is if Galarian Stampede swept Kramer 7-0, so basically it's win and they're in. This of course means that Temporal Tower Titans would need to beat Platoon Goons to give life to both themselves as well as Galarian Stampede. Even if they pulled that off, GS would be in control of their fate at that point, so TTT really needed a lot to go their way, including a win from the last place eliminated demoralized Kramers. The first of these games was Turk vs Twix. The career 1-7 Turk versus the 5-0 Twix. Oh hey, GS won game 1. Oh hey, GS won game 2. Oh hey, GS won game 3. Another one of the 3 powerhouses on Platoon Goons goes down. It's looking like Platoon Goons is about to win their first game of the series. I'm sorry, what now? Oh. That probably mattered, considering its helmet and therefore likely a bulky set. Oh. Platoon Goons, as a matter of fact, did not win their first game of the series. In hindsight, Ice going Urshifu first there would have won them the game, yes, because, of course, it forces the close combat defense drops, which would make Grassy Glide kill, but, like, in the moment, you don't really think like that. This moves Ice's all-time record to 5-10. But does record alone really tell the full story? Let's rewind. DPL Season 1, Ice and I are co-captains for Large Weens, often considered the worst team in DPL history despite the fact that our end-of-season record was better than that of every other last-place team since then. We are the best of the worst, thank you very much. Back then, of course, only one captain could play per week. Ice played 2 games, I played 4, and for some reason we had a week when neither of us played. I don't remember why that was. Anyway, Ice played in week 1, and he lost cleanly to Shuckle King, but week 3 is the week I really want to talk about. This was his final game of the season, versus Tails. Keep in mind, week 3, this was the week of the 7-0. The thing is, Ice won this game, but he won it with a Soldu Latios. Looking back, I'm not sure why we thought we had a case when we tried to defend it. Soldu wasn't banned on the dock, Ice had never played Gen 6 before, he saw it and was like, this thing is so broken, what the fuck? Checked to see if it was banned, and again, it didn't say so on the dock, so he rolled with it. Thing is, L5 had at one point pinged the captains in the captain chat saying Soldu is very banned. And at the end of the day, it did make a difference in the game. I really doubt Shadow Ball would have killed Jellicent from 63 without it, and Hidden Power Fighting might not have killed T-Tar depending on the spread. It probably did anyway, but even if it was just for one turn, it did make a difference, so we got the forfeit loss there, and that allowed the first and ever 7-0 sweep to occur. Again, it's definitely fair that we got a forfeit loss for that game, but it shouldn't be a reflection on Ice's abilities as a player. Hopping into his week 1 game of Season 2, all he's got to do is land this Fire Blast and he wins. Damn. But it's okay. Genius didn't click the kill button, so he has another shot to land a Fire Blast and... Oh. Week 2, clean win. Week 3, on the bench. Week 4, clean win. Week 5, clean loss, came down to a 50-50. Week 6, clean win. Week 7, clean loss in the sense that the obscene amount of hacks was somewhat even. Semifinals, this happened. DL would have been forced to go Magmortar, Ice would have probably sacked Golbat and gotten Coco in to beat that in the 1v1. T-Bolt was doing about 40% to Bronzong, so that wasn't really a switch in, and Ice would have been in a position to win this game, thereby winning the series for Jerry Evolution and sending them to the Season 2 championship. Something worth noting, I'm not calling the static para on Medi hacks because, come on, there are 3 chances at a 30% para. It only makes sense that it's going to happen at that point. I'm not trying to nitpick and play the hacks card on every little thing, because I'm not trying to push a narrative at all costs or anything. I just want the truth, and that is that Ice is a much, much better player than a 5-10 record would otherwise suggest. Continuing on to Season 3, he went 1-2. Let's see, his 2 losses were to, Gypsy and Blunder. Damn, what kind of loser loses to them, am I right? And of course we are now in Season 4. He got picked up in mids, and once again went 1-2. Week 5, clean loss. Week 6, clean win. And now we arrive at Week 7, where Coco gets crit by Urshifu to lose the game. But anyway, let's stop getting off topic. Ice is good at Mons, the 5-10 record is a lie, back to the playoff race. Kramers actually win a game, so TTT stays alive for now. We finally get a win from Platoon Goons, so both series are now 3-1. Another win from Kramers, another win from Platoon Goons. There was a Mienshao high jump kick miss there at the end, but both Mia and Lapis said that Tentacruel won anyway. Apparently it was Helmet with some bulk and special attack investment. I don't think the spread was ever posted, but they seemed confident about it, so I don't really see reason to doubt them. Next up, we have the 6-0 Derek versus Undead, and as we learned at the beginning, nobody went 7-0 this season, so guess who pulled out the win here? Now it's Harris versus the 0-6 Zern, who we also mentioned at the beginning for having an interesting end-of-season record. Hey, so both of these series started out 3-0. They're both currently tied at 3 apiece, and with 2 games left in the regular season, literally 3 teams still have a shot at that final seed. First up, we've got Kaz versus Keegan. If Kaz wins, TTT's eliminated. If Keegan wins, GS is eliminated. Nobody clinches from this game, and Platoon Goons just needs to win their game to advance. 38k Kaz versus 3k Keegan. It's like a Yankees versus Athletics or some shit, bruh. Like, this should be a pretty predictable outcome. I'm sorry, what? David has once again defeated Goliath. Temporal Tower Titans are still alive, thanks to Kramers clutching up and winning their last 4 games when they didn't need to. Galarian Stampede had 4 chances to win the series, but never came through. Now it all comes down to Y versus Pichu. And Pichu choked the 69-turn goal, but still came out with a win, and Temporal Tower Titans, with negative differential, have overcome the odds that were stacked against them in Week 7 to clinch the 4th seed of DPL Season 4. Now the playoffs are set, let's take a look at the matchups. We've got 1st place Whiscash taking on 4th place Temporal Tower Titans, and 2nd place Rocky Helmet Virizions taking on 3rd place Tangang. Okay, I know the whole point of this video should be an analysis of the playoff picture, but I'm gonna be real here. I've been working my ass off on this video all week. It's 9 AM on Sunday at the time of recording this part. I haven't slept in like 22 hours. I'm just trying to get this up as soon as humanly possible. We all know what's happening with playoffs right now. The Whiscash Gang versus TTT series is tied up at 2 apiece, and RHB is leading Tangang 2-1. Tangang's winning it all. John said it wouldn't happen in Week 1, so naturally it's gotta happen now. So just some concluding thoughts. Obviously I didn't upload nearly as much as I intended to this season. Of course the initial plan was to have Brandon as my co-host, but with everything being so rushed and unorganized, I just kind of did it solo. But I do kind of think it ended up better this way, since everything's a lot more concise and frankly more funny when scripted. I'm not opposed to the idea of having guests on, but I would need to find a way to keep that whole aspect of conciseness, and I feel like the only way to do that is to script a conversation with them, and like, that's obviously not genuine, so I don't know how I would really feel about that. Unless it's like, I don't know, like live reactions or something, like maybe an important game, but that's not really the same thing, maybe that could just be on the side. I don't want to upload anything too long or have any parts that drag on unnecessarily or anything. I have ADD, I can't stand that type of thing, and I'm sure as hell never going to upload anything that I wouldn't want to watch. I sometimes forget that I hate settling for less than perfect, and I really underestimated the amount of time each video would take, which again is why I didn't upload nearly as often as I thought I would. As of right now, I think I do want to do this again next season. Ideally it'll go more smoothly since I have an idea of what I'm doing now, and I've got GFX templates made and stuff, but maybe I won't feel like it by then, who knows. As of right now, I'd give it like a 70% chance I guess, but come on, we're Mons players, we know that number's meaningless. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll see you guys next season.